Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today working through day 3 of Pleasing in His Sight from Bythewell4God. I have a lot of notes and things that I'm going to try to get on this page. It's kind of a struggle for me here a little bit, as you will see as we go through this. But so I am going to be working in Hebrews 11 as my main page here. And so I have this stamp. This is the Our Aim stamp that you could get that coordinated with the kit. And I am using my little stamparatus from, I think that's from Stampin' Up, and some parchment paper. It's cardstock that's meant to look like parchment. It's not actual parchment, but anyway, I'm stamping that with Vintage Photo archival ink because it is a permanent ink. You can see I have to do another little stamp here. And then I'm going to trim this out with some scissors. I'm going to try to make this look old. So I have pulled out various colors of my Neocolor 2 crayons. They're water soluble. And I just pulled out some packaging here. And I'm just going to try to add some color to this map. This is why I used the archival ink to do the stamping. And at first I kind of start out being a little bit fussy, and I get a little less so later on, but you can see I'm just using this packaging here, and I have those 3 different colors, and I'm just going in randomly trying to make this little map look aged. So I'm starting with kind of some darker colors on the outside, and I'll have some more of that kind of yellow ochre kind of color on toward the middle. And I just cut out a lot of this process, and then there was a little heart on there, and I know maybe typically you would think like a red heart or whatever, but I used blue because I knew that was going to go with the rest of my page. But at this point it was looking old, but not as old as I really wanted it to. So I have taken my little water spritzer here, and I got it wet both on the front and the back, and now I'm just crumpling it up. And I'm going to do this a couple times, just straightening it out and crumpling it, and just really kind of weakening the paper some to make it like just kind of feel older and look older. And then also for the next step, it's going to help this kind of absorb some of this distress ink in a different way. Anytime you have like a crease in the paper or anything, especially when it's wet, it's going to absorb the color just a little bit differently because the paper is essentially damaged, a little bit. So it's going to soak it up different. So just kind of dipping this in. I added some water. This was Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. And I just added some water, did some more spritzing, just really to try to kind of get the look that I wanted. And then I'm going to go in again here with some more little, just trying to add some more color. And then I'm going to go in actually with my blending tool and the actual Vintage Photo, and then around the outside, and then toward the inside I'm actually adding some fossilized amber just to kind of give it a more golden kind of look. I just wanted some kind of depth, and that color just really helped accomplish that. So here are the pieces that, at least at this moment in time, I think I'm going to be using. For some reason I had my mind set on that camera. It doesn't end up making it on this page, which is funny. But anyway, I'm going to distress the edge of this journaling card. This journaling card comes in the kit, and it on the back side has lines, and I will include some notes on the back there. But for now, I just went around with that distressing tool and then some distress ink and went around the outside of this. And I'll be honest, this page was a struggle for me. I'm just gonna let you watch me fiddle here for a minute, but I'm not really doing anything too exciting. I'm just pulling out some different things I think I might use. But for whatever reason, I was just struggling with this page. I'm not used to working in an interleaved Bible. I have been journaling, since I think I got my first journaling Bible in like 2017, but this is my first interleaved, and it's just kind of a whole different animal. So I'm just trying to figure out what works for me in my style. I spend a lot of time actually working in other kinds of journals so that I can include all the notes that I want and my thoughts and extra scriptures and all those kinds of things. And you don't have that much room in a Bible like this, or it would get too thick, too chunky, too fast. So I'm trying to kind of keep all that in mind. So I'm just trying to kind of balance all of these things in my brain, and also just getting used to having this much area to work in, and trying to switch my brain from the way that I've used have been working recently into something new. And I say all that to say that, you know, I had, like I said, I have been a Bible journaler for years and a paper crafter for longer than that. So I am not new to, you know, doing things with paper necessarily, but we all just come to times where we struggle with things. And this page was just a struggle for me from start to finish, literally. So, as you'll see here in a minute, but I wanted to go ahead and stamp this compass in the background. And this, I'm using, I think it's Tumbled Glass Distress Oxide ink. And this is from the Roses and Wheels stamp set. This is an older Bythewell4God stamp set. I'm not sure if it's still available or not. I apologize, but I just wanted to have the compass with a little map thing. And then I'm pulling out various colors of Distress Crayon here because I'm not sure which I want to use. I know I want to add some color to the background, but I'm not sure. So what you're going to see me do here is I'm going to flip to the back pages of my Bible. And I left this part in because I see a lot of questions. You know, people ask, what will this work in my Bible, whatever. And this is just one of the ways that I work through that process. So I'm scribbling out a bunch of the different colors that I have pulled out. And then I'm going to take a baby wipe and kind of smooth it out. Part of this, I wanted to see how well on this particular Bible page these colors were going to dissolve. And because I have one Bible where if you make the scribbly marks, you know, with a Distress Crayon, you can actually see the crayon. I have one Bible where it fades out to nothing and you can't see the lines at all. So I wanted to see how this Bible would react. So I just tested it all in the back. And then I labeled my colors so I would know for the future. And also because this Bible has a more creamy yellow kind of hue to it than some of my other Bibles are more like white pages. And so I wanted to see that, you know, that shifts the color just a little bit. So I just kind of wanted to see. So I tested all those in the back. And like I said, I labeled them. And I think the one that won out for me for what you see me doing now is Faded Jeans. So I just scribbled the color around. I just took a baby wipe and I smoothed the color out, you know, kind of dissolving it and then letting it fade in toward the center. So there's more color at the edges and then it fades in. And I'm just going to dry that with my heat tool. And then I also go in with the Vintage Photo, I think it was the Distress Oxide ink, and I go around the edge of all of this too. And what you're seeing me here do here is whenever I have something that I've watercolored like that and my kind of page is kind of wet, I just heat up the entire page and dry it and get it the page kind of really hot, and then I just close my Bible, and that gets rid of a lot of the kind of wrinkles from using a water thing on there. That's just something I have found through the years that works. So again, you saw me just kind of distressing everything with that archival ink, again, in Vintage Photo. I'm sorry if I sound so scattered. I kind of, it's just been a week, if you know, you know. Anyway, so I'm just going back through and positioning all these things, trying to get the idea for how I want everything on this page, and I'm going to start gluing down kind of from the bottom up. I took one of those journaling cards, wrote a quote from the devotional, which I've actually seen a lot of people use. It's such a good quote. And it just says that a weak faith can lay hold on a strong Christ. It's such a good quote. So I wanted to include that. And then I have some notes here on the back of my journaling card. I used the faux washi as a way to create a tip in there. And then I have this area now, because I cut that journaling card, that I'm just not happy with. So I'm going to fiddle with some of the florals and just trying to determine like some way to kind of fix that area so that when you open the tip in, it's not just this, you know, gaping hole where where I cut off that journaling card. So I just wasn't happy with all of the things. So I pulled out this film strip washi and just ran that along the top just as a kind of way to at least give it, you know, a nice finished edge there. And then of course, if I'm going to use it there, I feel like I need to use it other places as well, even though you can't really see it unless you open the tip in, but that's okay. So again, I'm just kind of going back and forth, trying to decide what to do. And I wanted to add the day of this devotional over here in this little corner. That's like the perfect little space to tuck that in. So I'm going to pull out the yellow tile alphas, and I have them. I'm sorry, I'm off camera here again. This, like I said, this whole thing was just kind of a struggle. So I actually used the vintage photo just a little bit to kind of darken that yellow, just to kind of make it a little bit match better with the map page. And I just did that right on my hand. I always pull the tile alphas off and stick them on my thumb, and so I just inked them literally while they were on my thumb, and I'm just sticking them down with some tweezers, just trying to fill in that little area there. And now I still felt like it needed something, so again I'm coming back in with this little film strip washi tape that I have in my stash, and then I'm going to add that in just a couple places here. And at this point I'm looking at this page and it looks okay, but it's just not everything that I wanted it to be. And so what I have to do sometimes is I literally just put this to bed and came back to it. And so this is actually the next day, and you can, I don't know what's going on with my camera. Like I said, the struggle is real, but something is, you know, you can see the difference in the camera here. And my sweater is the same because it's always cold where my craft desk is, so I always have a sweater, this sweater sitting on my chair. But anyway, I'm just using this film strip stencil and the vintage photo distress oxide and lightly stenciling this into the background. I'm going to make a title. This just feels like I just felt like it needed something, and I couldn't really put my finger on what that was. So I have also pulled out a little camera that I'm going to put down in the bottom, kind of where those pieces overlap. I just felt like it needed something else right there just to bring some balance into everything. So I'm actually using the Delightful Alpha. This was a release that came out with this kit as well. And I'm just in those film strip stencil areas, I'm going to write out Faith using the stamps. And what I did, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a really harsh black. I'm using Black Soot archival ink, which is a really, really black. And so I decided to do second generation stamping just so that it would be kind of subtle. And, you know, because film strips have that, like, you know, they're translucent. So I kind of wanted to keep that feeling. So I didn't want it to be really super, super black. And then I just added this little camera. I'm sorry you can't see it on screen. Down here at the bottom, it's really basically the last thing that I'm going to do to this page. And I also am working in a little journal that I created from the scripture cards, which I'm going to include the pictures here because somehow I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I lost all that footage, but here are some pictures of that and a close-up of my final page. You can also see some pictures on Instagram. So if you stuck with it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And until next time, bye.